as Jamaicans cast the ballot in 3 by-elections.
That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, October 30th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. Polls are now closed in St. Mary's Southeastern, St. Andrews Southern and St. Andrews Southwestern, where Jamaicans were voting for new representatives in Parliament. The polls opened at 7 a.m. local time and closed at 5 o'clock, and the Electoral Office of Jamaica expects to be able to announce the results by 7:30. But the day did not go without controversy. Police said they had received reports of voter intimidation in St. Mary's Southeastern. Assistant Commissioner Norman Haywood said lawmen were kept busy since the morning trying to ensure that supporters of both major political parties adhered to the law. And he said there were reports from both parties about some form of intimidation or another. He said they were investigated and those reports that are to be referred to the Ombudsman will be. ACP Haywood said the police have also found breaches of the Representation of the People's Act because there were persons who were seen in party colors in many motorcades with party paraphernalia. A close watch was being kept on St. Mary's Southeastern, where the run-up to the election there were some tense moments, including questions about the nationality of one of the candidates, the main opposition People's National Party's Dr. Shane Alexis. He faced the ruling Jamaica Labour Party's Dr. Norman Dunn. The by-election in that constituency stems from a vacancy created when Member of Parliament Dr. Winston Green died suddenly on August 14. The candidates in St. Andrews Southern were the PNP's Mark Golden and the JLP's Dane Dennis. The PNP's Angela Brown Burke and the JLP's Victor Hyde are the candidates in St. Andrews Southwestern. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has urged the private sector to forego plans to send home workers following the destruction caused to their businesses when Hurricane Maria slammed into the island last month, killing at least 28 people and causing millions of dollars in damage. Addressing his Monday morning press briefing, Skerrit appealed to the private sector not to rush to terminate people's employment.
We must have a human conscience. It can't always be about the bottom line. We all have difficult circumstances. The government has not earned $1 single for taxation or for port duties since September 18. But we paid all our debts and all our legal obligations at the end of September, and we are paying all our salaries and all our legal obligations at the end of October. And we should not rush to terminate people who have been so good to us and for bringing wealth to us. You know, let us hold people's hands at least for the next 3 months so that we can all have a good Christmas.
But Skerrit also warned public servants that their jobs in government would only be saved if they show a commitment by turning up for work.
So, as I said, we will maintain the employment of the public service, but you have to work on the condition that you work. You as a public servant cannot not show up for work or be at your home cooking all day and eating all day while the rest of us come to work every day for 10, 12 hours to work. We have to work. So I will not be tolerating any demonstration of laziness or indifference to people's national duty. We will do everything possible, humanly possible, and with the help of the Almighty, to ensure that we can get the resources to sustain the public service, but people have to work.
Skerrit also commended insurance companies that have been making payouts, saying that the payments were a critical component of the country's recovery. And he urged those receiving the insurance payments to use those resources for the purpose for which they were intended. Meantime, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says he held very successful talks with European leaders and aid donors on his trip to Brussels and London, and he says there is a strong commitment by the international community to help rebuild the hurricane-battered island. Skerrit, who returned home over the weekend, said while he would be providing details of the trip overseas during his Independence Day address on Friday, he was very comforted by the continued demonstration of concern, care and solidarity to Dominica by the international community.
I met with many of the people within the UN systems, and what was important is that there was no rush in those meetings. People took the time to be engaged, you know, As a matter of fact, many of these meetings I had to call them to an end. People were very keen on listening and understanding the vision of the government and the plans of the government and the programs, and how can they fit into these programs, how can they assist Dominica. And they've been looking at within the system, see how much money they have within the system, and how much, what's the maximum can they give to Dominica in the circumstances. So I really want to say thank you to the European Union and all of the wonderful people I met, the commissioners who I met, the commissioners for agriculture, the commissioner for development cooperation, and all of the other director generals there in the United Nations at Brussels, for the extraordinary efforts.
The Prime Minister also revealed that he had received word that the United States Agency for International Development is providing an additional $2.5 million US, and he is pushing to get more.
Everybody has demonstrated a commitment to helping us, and what we're seeking to do is to share with them our vision, share with them our plans, get them to understand that we will need all of the money that is available, and very critically in a timely fashion, in a more efficient fashion, because we're 6 months, we're months away from next hurricane season.
The head of the CARICOM Energy Program at the CARICOM Secretariat says recent climatic events have reshaped this year's agenda for the observance of Energy Month. Dr. Devon Gardner said the extensive damage to power grids and critical infrastructure in countries recently ravaged by Hurricanes Irma and Maria are indicative of how the region's vulnerability to climate and disaster can retard advances in the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. He was addressing a ceremony to mark the launch of CARICOM Energy Week, which is being observed this year under the theme Rethinking Energy, Reshaping a Resilient Community. Gardner said the region's future lies in the reduction of risks from the impacts of extreme weather, and he says such resilience building requires adapting economic, social and environmental systems to changes that are already unavoidable.
The aim is to build back better within the Caribbean context, and this will require significant attention to be paid on the vulnerabilities of our islands. Our future lies in the reduction of future risk from extreme weather impacts, and this requires adapting our economic, social and environmental systems to changes that are already unavoidable. A strategic focus on energy, climate and disaster risk as the central plank within our respective development models is needed, such that the efficient and cost-effective production, delivery and use of renewable energy decouple our development from expensive fossil fuel use. In doing so, the energy system designs within CARICOM can present an opportunity for enhancing the ability of our respective sectors, economic and social, to strategically address climate and disaster risks.
We apologize for the quality of that insert. The CARICOM Energy Month was launched with a mini symposium and exhibition in Haiti on Monday. Organizers say the symposium is intended to bring students, civil society, private sector and energy professionals together with senior government officials and policymakers to promote dialogue on the current energy landscape within CARICOM. In Trinidad and Tobago, Opposition MP Dr. Rudal Munilal is calling on Minister of Legal Affairs Stuart Young to either serve him with legal documents regarding alleged corruption or he will go on a hunger strike. The threat follows yet another statement by Minister Young last Friday that Dr. Munilal is to be served for alleged corruption during his period as Minister of Housing under the People's Partnership Government. We get the details in this CNews report.
East MP Dr. Rudal Munilal said he will embark on a hunger strike providing Minister Stuart Young doesn't serve him legal documents. He was speaking to CNews via telephone.
I'm contemplating launching a hunger strike in front of his office until he serves me the documents, because he's just joking and trying to distract attention away from the incompetence of the PNM government and the corruption of the PNM government. This is a government that has not proceeded to govern and spend $100 billion and has nothing to show.
Dr. Munilal said for weeks now Minister Young has been repeating his stance and he really thinks it needs to come to fruition.
Minister Young is talking in Port of Spain, he's talking in San Fernando, He will talk in Arima, Point Fortin, and Scarborough. When you come to shoot, you shoot. If Minister Young has documents to serve me. Stop talking. Serve. In fact, I get better service at any restaurant in San Fernando than I get for him.
As for the hunger strike, the MP said this will be done in front of the constituency office of Minister Young.
No, I'm thinking of having a demonstration in front of his office of constituents, demanding that if he has any document to serve me, he should serve me or shut up.
Minister Young said after forensic audit was completed, it exposed bid rigging at the Estate Management and Business Development Company during Dr. Munilal's tenure as the Minister of Housing.
Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, St. Kitts and Nevis defends keeping its economic citizenship costs higher than other countries in the region. Stay with us, there's more news after the break.
Welcome to the gem of the Caribbean, Antigua and Barbuda.
A warm welcome awaits you at our state-of-the-art VC Bird International Airport.
I must say that Antigua is in wonderful shape. 5 minutes off the boat and we're already in paradise.
Antigua was not that damaged by the storm as much as Barbuda was. The hotels are still open, the beaches are still clean, and the people are still friendly.
With Antigua, it's the people that really await you.
Hurricane Irma may have hit a little bit, but you can't even tell that it was ever here. The beach is wonderful. I'm having a great time.
Everything is just as we remember. No storm damage.
We're here and we're open.
And we're better than ever.
I do a lot of destination weddings, and I see weddings that could happen here, and they would be in love with it.
I can't say enough about how in love with Antigua I am.
It is one nation, two islands, and I'm loving it.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Barbados, it's gonna be lit. FAS 7-star Hennessy and Yellow present Hennessy Artistry, featuring international superstar Beres Hammond, Sizzler,
Dry cry, even tears.
Movado, Pasfana Fox, Little Rick, and Nikita. And for the first time in Barbados, Tory Lanez. Hosted by Vane and Peter Coppin, the Hennessy experience of a lifetime.
Everyone falls in love sometimes.
Hennessy Artistry, December 2nd, Kensington Oval. Welcome to the weekend. Hennessy, never stop, never settle. Flaunt your taste responsibly.
St. Kitts and Nevis says it has no intention of engaging in a race to the bottom by following other Caribbean countries and reducing the cost of economic citizenship. Chief Executive Officer of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, Les Can, said St. Kitts and Nevis originally set a price that it felt was competitive, and while it was higher than everyone else, it maintained the standard of Platinum brand. Other CARICOM countries engaged in similar citizenship by investment programs are Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia. Last month, the Antigua and Barbuda government announced a 50% reduction in its fees. Can said there is consensus among international marketing agents that there has been consistent excellence and professionalism associated with the Platinum brand of the St. Kitts and Nevis CIP. And he said there has been increases in the level of interest in the Twin Island Federation's Economic Citizenship Program. In Guyana, government and the Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU, have agreed to set up a high-level task force to examine matters relating to the well-being of teachers and students. This was the outcome of a meeting on Monday between a government delegation headed by President David Granger and the GUT team headed by its first Vice President, Lesmaine Collins. A joint statement issued after the meeting said the teachers will enjoy an interim salary increase from 6 to 8% retroactive January 1st, 2017. The task force, which is to be set up by Wednesday, will be made up of representatives from the Ministries of Education, Finance, Communities, Public Service and Presidency and the GUT. In its first meeting, the task force is expected to establish timelines for meetings and the completion of its work. The union has also agreed to provide a complete dossier of its financial and non-financial submissions by Wednesday. The statement quoted President Granger as proposing that the discussions take a holistic view on the improvement of the education sector. France's President Emmanuel Macron visited French Guiana for the first time after the massive street protests that took place in March. Macron, upon his visit, stated clearly to residents that he's not Santa Claus and did not come to make empty promises to them, but instead work with the people of the country to make it better. He says the time for promises are over and stated clearly that he is not Santa Claus. Macron emphasized the importance of regional integration of French overseas territories.
As soon as he arrived in French Guiana, the French president wanted to set the record straight, declaring, I quote, "I am not Santa Claus.
I'm not Santa Claus because the French Guyanese are not children. I'm here with ambition for French Guiana, but I didn't come to make promises. That time is over."
After a walk in the streets of Cayenne, the collective demanded the arrival of Emmanuel Macron to begin the discussions. After 3 ultimatums face-to-face with the forces of order turned into a violent clash for long minutes between protesters and police on the streets of Cayenne.
The philosophy that's mine is not to arrive with billions. I know that some ask for more and more because I have a confession to you. The billions that I give are yours. There is a commitment of 1 billion euros that has been taken. It will be held over the coming years. But behind, these are projects that we must develop. The approach that I want that we have with the president of the territorial collective of Guyana, with all the elected officials, the civil society, is to build the project that will be yours. The project of French Guiana is the very heart of the overseas foundations.
The French president was accompanied by the president of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, who had made the trip for this 22nd conference of the European region's ultra-peripheral.
France allows us to discover new horizons almost on a daily basis, and I was therefore very happy to come here to say first of all my gratitude to France for having dared to do on the spot that others didn't dare to do on other places, and say thanks you to French Guiana.
Emmanuel Macron also emphasized the importance of regional integration of French overseas territories.
The French West Indians want to be able to radiate in the Caribbean and exchange with those with whom they will have to trade or to develop academic relations. To register our territories in this regional identity is to make it succeed, to make it a relay of growth, and that's why I want to make each of our territories relays for companies, including for companies from mainland France to succeed, go project on markets where it's not, and make our territories overseas development platforms in expanding territories.
Regional integration will be discussed shortly at the 13th Regional Conference on Caribbean and French Guiana, which after French Guiana last year will take place this year in Guadeloupe from November.
And we thank our partners over at France Caribbean Broadcast for that report and encourage you to join us on Mondays for news from the French West Indies. And ahead in Newsline Sport, Chris Gayle wins a defamation case against an Australian media company. Stay with us. Sport is next.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the colour of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless. From cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Barbados, it's gonna be lit. FAS 7-star Hennessy and Yellow present Hennessy Artistry, featuring international superstar Beres Hammond. Sizzler.
Dry cry, even tears.
Movado. Hosfana Fox, Little Rick, and Nikita. And for the first time in Barbados, Tory Lanez. Hosted by Vane and Peter Coppin. The Hennessy experience of a lifetime.
Everyone falls in love sometimes.
Hennessy Artistry, December 2nd, Kensington Oval. Welcome to the weekend. Hennessy, never stop, never settle. Flaunt your taste responsibly.
A Sydney court on Monday ruled in favor of West Indies star Chris Gayle in a widely publicised defamation case involving leading Australian media company Fairfax Media. Following the 6-day trial, a 4-member jury comprising 1 man and 3 women concluded in less than 2 hours that Fairfax Media had failed to prove that a series of articles it published about Gayle last year was true. The court will decide on damage Tuesday. A relieved Gayle told the media that the victory was a triple century for him.
I'm happy with the decision the jury has made. They have actually made the right decision. You know, I came this far all the way from Jamaica to actually defend myself, defend my name and my character as well. And at the end of the day, I'm very, very happy it actually come to a close now.
The verdict was clear cut. You did not expose yourself.
Yes, that was a triple century. No, no, no. So actually I have 3 triples now.
Fairfax are talking about making an appeal. Will you come back again, Chris, and fight again, if that's the case?
Chris is a fighter. He will always fight.
Was this better than scoring a ton?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is a serious thing, and these things do happen around the world, you know, for sports people as well. But, you know, like I said, you know, whatever any particular person, whether it's from a man or a woman perspective, if they believe in their right and they haven't done something wrong, they should always fight for their right and, you know, stand for what they believe in. You know, these things do happen.
The complainant Leanne Russell had given a tearful testimony during the trial that she was forced to shield her eyes when Gayle dropped his towel to expose himself before walking out abruptly. Gayle maintained the incident never occurred and was supported by former West Indies teammate Barbadian Dwayne Smith, who testified during the trial. Gayle's legal counsel Bruce McClintock slammed Russell during the trial as plainly neurotic, bitter and vengeful. But in a statement, Fairfax Media said it did not receive a fair trial and was considering an appeal. Kieran Powell was closing in on his second half-century of the series, but opening partner Craig Brathwaite fell just before the close to spoil an otherwise flawless West Indies reply on the second day of the second test against Zimbabwe in Bulawayo on Monday. The left-handed Powell was unbeaten on 43 as the Windies reached 78 for 1 in their first innings at stumps in response to the host decent 326 all out at Queen's Sports Club. West Indies appeared set to complete the day without losing a wicket when Brathwaite perished 3 overs before the close for 32, edging a flat leg breaker from Graham Creamer to Hamilton at slip. Brathwaite faced 160 deliveries and counted 2 fours, adding 76 for the first wicket, with Powell, who has so far struck 4 fours in a 123-ball knock. Earlier, Zimbabwe had gotten 147 from opener Hamilton and 80 from Sikadar as they batted their way to the eventual total.
Yes.
50 for PJ Moore.
West Indies trail by 248 runs heading into Tuesday's Day 3. Still in cricket, 3-time reigning regional 4-day champions Guyana Jaguars started their quest for a 4th straight title in style by crushing Jamaica Scorpions by 263 runs on the final day of their opening round clash in the championship on Sunday, resuming the day on 61 for 2 in their second innings in pursuit of an improbable 483 for victory at the Guyana National Stadium. Scorpions were dismissed in the final session for 219. Wicketkeeper Romain Morrison top scored with 68. Left-hander Assad Fudderdin got 40, while Brandon King chipped in with 35 and Dennis Bully 32. Left-arm spinner Veerasamy Permaul picked up 4 for 55 to end with match figures of 10 for 84, while seamer Kimo Paul supported with 2 for 25. For the victory, Jaguars gathered 18.4 points, while Scorpions claimed 4.2. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Grow your business or promote your event through the services offered by the Caribbean Media Corporation and Carib Vision. Our distribution provides a platform on cable, terrestrial television, and websites. We cover carnivals and events from across the region. We can bring your event live and alive to the world. For music makers, program producers, businesses, we can expand your reach to in excess of 2 million households daily. Our other services include news updates to enhance your media products, studio space for program and development. We can facilitate the launch of new products and services and training. Contact us and we will help you unleash your creative ability, develop products and services, and provide the medium to watch them grow. Contact Loretta Skeet at cmccaribbean.com or call her 1-246-467-1044 or 1-246-253-3889. Call and book your carnival or event today.
Again, the major developments of this day: complaints about voter intimidation as Jamaicans cast ballots in 3 by-elections. And in sport, West Indies cricketer Chris Gayle wins a defamation case against the leading Australian media company, Fairfax Media. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and do have yourselves a good night.